we mean when we refer to somebody having excellent communication skills? Is it just that they're able to hold a conversation well, or they're great at small talk? Not exactly. It's a lot more of complex science. And yes, it is a science. It has to do with psychology. Communication skills are great to have, but also a necessity in life in general and at work. Communication skills enable you to hold crucial conversations, difficult negotiations, and really the foundation to daily life. When we talk about communication skills, we need to be able to vocalize our thoughts effectively, but also understand other people's thoughts well, too. So it's definitely a give and take when we refer to excellent communication skills. And that's something that absolutely anybody can develop. A couple of examples of effective communication skills when it comes to the professional setting is things like negotiating, presenting and public speaking, also holding meetings in person and virtually is an example of communication. These days, communication has become a lot more complex when it has to do with holding meetings virtually, in person, or even in a hybrid setting. Otherwise, if we're not being effective, nothing would get done. No outcome would result from all of these meetings that we're holding, and those take a lot of our time. It's important to remember that not all of us are as great and charismatic when it comes to public speaking, but absolutely all of us can be great when it comes to communicating effectively. And some people might be great at certain angles of communication than others. So there is definitely a spectrum to consider when we're talking about communicating with larger groups versus smaller groups. And that's a skill that we can hone at every level of that gradient. We just need to really put our mind to it and practice that skill as much as possible. Effective communication is critical to success at every level of a professional career. And this is the foundation to building relationships and developing emotional intelligence, which is a topic that we will be diving into in next week's video. Communication actually encompasses a plethora of different platforms or modes. This includes written communication, such as emails or messaging. It includes the traditional voice calls, as well as the all-time popular platform that developed rapidly during COVID, or virtual meetings and conversations, and of course the traditional in-person communication. The most challenging form of communication for most people is public speaking, which entails speaking to a larger audience to deliver a subject matter. And this includes things like delivering a lecture or presenting to a small group. Critical aspects to consider to become effective at communication would be to remain authentic. This means that you need to be genuine to who you are rather than behaving differently or trying to act like somebody else to impress. Of course, credibility is always critical, and honesty is a red line that must never be crossed. Empathy is crucial to enable a give and take during a discussion. Conciseness and clarity are key, whether you're speaking or leading a meeting or simply writing an email. Use as few words as possible when you're trying to communicate a message. Do not try to embellish, otherwise you might lose the essence of the topic. Ultimately, the goal of successful and effective communication is the ability to deliver a message and contribute with value. If you don't have something relevant to add, don't communicate unnecessarily. If you consider basic conversations, one must practice the all-time elusive but very much required skill of active listening. This entails being present in the moment during a discussion while maintaining eye contact and a very strong level of empathy and curiosity, both towards the topic that's being discussed as well as the other party participating in the conversation. End of the day, exchange of ideas needs to be successfully completed. If you consider, on the other hand, a difficult or very important discussion, complexity becomes amplified. This may be an emotionally charged conversation, or perhaps a negotiation of sorts, or it might just be a discussion with an individual you might not like very much. Whatever the type of scenario, you must always start with a purpose to the conversation. Keep that in your mind's eye at all times to avoid straying off the subject. Managing the situation is crucial, both to avoid deviating from the topic at hand, which may take you off course, as well as avoiding emotions from flaring up. Whether or not it results in a win-win situation, an outcome needs to be generated, and this means clearly laying out the next steps, action items, and expectations moving forward. In upcoming videos, we will be diving into negotiations, which is a very interesting example of such difficult conversations. We'll be going into the topic of how to navigate and maneuver around difficulties during negotiations, as well as the basic framework for negotiations. Communication is an excellent skill to have and definitely something that anybody can develop, just with a little bit of practice and hard work. Hard things take time to develop, and that's what we need to put in, the hard work to result in a great skill that we're holding, again, to be applied professionally and personally in